Alright guys, I am going to show you how to market yourself online, and I'm going to give you 10 years of experience and lessons building businesses in 10 minutes. So I want to talk about the biggest constraint I see for online business owners when it comes down to their own marketing. And this is going to be the difference between you understanding marketing and just putting content out there that you think is going to relate with your target audience. So the dream clients you have, we're going to show you exactly what we've used in these 5 chapters. And by the end of it, we're going to give you the framework. You can copy it. You can literally get the sheets that we use to identify this ourselves, making sure every single piece of content we have hits home and lands. So if that's not worth staying for in just 10 minutes of your time to improve your business, then there's probably nothing on the internet that's going to be worth watching. So hopefully you save this video for a time you've got 10 minutes and it helps. So let's get straight into the video then. Like I said, how to market your business online. And I want to talk about, first of all, the biggest problem very quickly that I see with online marketing. And that is the quote there. They don't buy what you know they need. They buy what they think they need. Okay. So there's an awareness journey that you need to be aware of yourself. And that is where people are at in their journey. So are they problem aware? And this is the problems they think they have. And are they actually problem aware to the point where you know the right problems that they've actually got? Okay. So that's two different parts of the problem awareness. Then we've obviously got solution aware. This is when they're aware of maybe the solutions that are available to solve that problem. And then you've got product aware, which even if it's a service you've got, that means they know it's that specific service they need to solve that problem. So that's the journey that we're going on. That's the funnel that we're going on. And just to give you an idea, only 3% of people or viewers online are at that bottom phase in the journey where they understand everything. And the 97% are above that. So you need to be making sure that your content, which is the top of funnel stuff on organic social media channels, think your Instagram reels, your TikTok reels, even YouTube if you're doing that, or any sort of ads, you've got top of funnel stuff that's just relating to the problems that they've got. But you need to be specific and talk about the problems they think they have, okay? I'm going to give you an example of what that means as well below, but hopefully you can think about it as well. What do you think it means at this point? When I say the problem that your customer thinks they have compared to the problem that you know they have. I'll give you an analogy of experiences we've had literally in our own business now. But let's move into chapter 2. So stop selling your solutions to invisible problems. Okay? You're solving invisible problems and wonder why no one cares. So it's very hard for me to do this without giving an analogy. So I'm going to give you one, right? Imagine a doctor, and this is you. You're the doctor. You're the service provider. And someone comes in and they've got pain. And their pain is what they think the problem is, okay? So they're going into the doctor and they're presenting the pain. They're presenting the problem that they think they have. But the doctor will do a diagnosis and it might understand that the pain that they're getting is just a symptom of the underlying problem. You see where I'm getting at? So even though, and this is where service providers then go wrong. So imagine doctors promoting the actual problem and talking about the problem, but the customer, the client, the patient, they don't think they've got that problem because they've got pain. They've got a different pain elsewhere. Okay, so that's the difference. There's a massive difference. So in your content, that might mean that instead of you talking about the actual problem that is causing that pain, you actually talk about the pain they've got. And if they relate to that, then they consume more of your content. And that's when you educate them on the fact that, no, that's just a symptom. And this is the actual problem that you've got. So that's where you need to get them to. So you need to understand that first of all. So very important where you are in your funnel. So if you're talking about top of funnel content, reels, short form content that you're putting out there to reach new viewers that have never seen you before, you're aiming it at the problems they think they have, not the problems that you know they have, not the solutions you've got to their problems that they don't even think they have, and definitely not your product at this point. That is further down the funnel, okay? So that's how it works as a funnel overall. So let's move into chapter 3. So chapter 3, how to speak to the problems they think they have. Use your content to speak their language and educate them through marketing further down the funnel. So when we talk about the problems they think they have, that would mean, and I'll relate it to, in PB Academy, we scaled a coaching service online to 250 plus active clients. We built a full team. We've done all of that stuff. So we've experienced all that, and we've got a gym in person as well. So we've run, the in-person, old school, brick and mortar gym model. So we understand both in terms of how businesses operate. But with the online coaching stuff, it was completely different in how we advertised our content. So our content was always relating to the problems that they think they had. So let's say this, for example, with a guy that's always been skinny and he's always had a bit of a small chest, right? He might have been called pigeon chest by his mates or something like that back in the day, which we all know guys that have done that, right? And he thinks he can't grow his chest. So he will say to his mates or to people around him, I can't grow my chest. Or if he's speaking to a coach he trusts, he might say, I can't grow my chest. So it would be very silly of us as the expert coach and guru that you are to then go and say, these are the exercises you need to do to grow your chest. Because he's not gonna actually think he can grow his chest, because right now he thinks he can't grow his chest. So at the top of that content, on the short form content, you need to relate to him first and how he feels. So you need to say, if you feel like you can't grow your chest, obviously we know everyone can actually grow and improve the problems that you have usually, but we need to relate to them first so they feel heard. They understand that the problems they think they have are being heard and spoken to. Otherwise, if you're putting out messages saying that this is how to grow your chest, they will literally think, oh, well, that's for the guys that, that can grow their chest. Not for me, I can't grow my chest. So that's how we make sure we relate, first of all, with the hook of how they think they feel, and well, how they feel and their problems they think they have. Another example, a fat loss example, women would say, I can't lose weight. How many times have you heard women say, I can't lose weight? We know you can lose weight. So that's the problem they think they've got. They think they cannot lose weight. But what's actually the problem? The problem might be when we investigate further as a coach. If we were to live with that person for like a week, we'd very quickly understand, okay, they understand calorie tracking and everything like that, but what are they missing out? All the liquid calories that's coming from all their drinks, their 400 calorie cappuccinos, maybe they're unaware of those, or just the way they cook and the sauces they use. A sauce they use that they thought had low calories, maybe it had a lot more calories, and they have that on every one of their 3 meals a day, and all of a sudden it's adding up to 400 calories extra. Now you've got the 400 calorie drink. Technically they're not in a deficit anymore. So the actual problem is they are not, number one, being accountable to how they track, which is where a coach comes in, but also they're not being very specific and being in a deficit. They're not in a deficit. And we know for a fact, they know for a fact they can't lose weight in a deficit. But if we said that to them on content, so let's go back to the funnel and back to the top of funnel content. If we said, you need to track more meticulously. If we said that to them, they would first of all say, they'd see the content, they're like, no, I can't lose weight. But if we change the content to be like, if you feel like you can't lose weight, if you've been trying to lose weight for years and you still failed, now they're like, this is me. So now they're relating a bit more to that part, and then you go into the education a little bit on that reel if you want to. If you want to go and speak to it then. I would advise that that's actually further down the funnel. First of all, you just want to really resonate with their problems, if you're using real short form content to really go out there and speak to that audience. You want to just relate initially. You want to gain their trust, and then you want to start to educate them a little bit on the actual problems. Then you start to bring in the solutions. Then they find out, you provide that solution, and it's very specific to what they want to solve. So that's the journey you need to go on, right? So that's chapter 3 covered. Now, chapter 4, 10 years of experience. We did over 500 grand in sales in the last 2 years with PB Academy. So this is how we stopped selling solutions and we dominated our market. Now, this is a little bit different. So as we talk about further down the funnel, it takes 6 to 9, maybe 12 months for people to trust you online, for people to completely trust you enough to buy and take that next step with you. Now, we investigated it further and we realized it's not the time that people need. They just need to see enough of this content. And a Google study proved the 7-11-4 rule. 7 hours of content. I don't know why I said 5. 7 hours of content, 11 different touch points and 4 different locations. Okay? What that means is they need to consume that much of you in 11 different things that they're talking about. And then 4 different locations, whether it's them having a poo and they're scrolling their phone, whether it's them in the office and they're scrolling, whether it's them and they're watching a YouTube video late at night. Those are the different locations, okay? So that's what Google proved, so don't take it from me. Now, how could we condense and squeeze that into just a matter of days? And the way we did it was through a very, very complicated at the time funnel. And then we wanted to simplify it. So we tried our best to simplify. And in the end, we came to just a one-pager, one link that was strategically placed in our bio. You're probably already doing this with a Calendly link and with maybe an application form in your bio. You might have a link tree, which I wouldn't advise. But if you want to use it because you've got multiple links, I understand. But ideally, you want to be diverting traffic into one way, one system. And when they click that link, the Calendly link initially and the application form is too cold. There's nothing else there. And like I said, 97% of people are not ready to buy yet. 3% are. So the 3% will be going through, and that's who you're getting as leads right now. But how can we convert the rest? And that's where we had the one page that injected all of our social proof, everything into that one page, so they could make a decision. As they scrolled, they increased the trust, the skepticism went down, and they just automatically trusted us by the end of that page. They didn't even have to get to the end, but they'd seen enough results, testimonials, positive wins, case studies, everything. And then they took the next step. The next step would be the CTA within that page, and it would take them then to the Calendly link, or it would take them to the application form. So that's how we done it. And that's how I would design your funnel. If you're running an online service business, that's how it would go. Very simple, very quick, very easy to do. So you relate on the front end to the problems they think they have. They come through, they follow you, they have a little bit more education, they consume more hours of your content, more time watching you and understanding you. And then when they click that link, right, they might not be ready to buy, but by the time they scroll that page, they're going to convert and they're going to become a lead. And then that's when you can speak to them, educate them further, nurture them further, and then eventually get clients. So that's how it works. I hope that makes sense. That's the 10 years of experience I can summarize quickly into 10 minutes. Obviously, there's a hell of a lot more, but if that's the take home you get from this, and you start doing that with your content, you start having that link. And if you don't know how to design a funnel, fancy website, stuff like that, I don't think you need it. We've built a tool, right? And this does exist. It's not something we've invented. This does exist in terms of websites, funnels, all that sort of stuff exists. But nobody has built a one-page platform that is fully designed for you to just upload all your proof, your results, your testimonials, anything you need, your case studies, your screenshots of positive messages, that shows you are as good as you say you are and you get people results into one page, and we call it the Social Proof page. So if you want to view our example proof page, you can click the link below and you'll be able to see it, and that's what you can get for yourself. And you will have exactly that, and it converts viewers into customers online. So what I want to give you, as I promised you this as well, is the framework that you can copy instantly that will allow you to identify your audience, so that all the things we talked about, you will use ChatGPT as well. So we put a prompt in there for you to work with them, so you can understand exactly what content you need to make. It will understand all of the pain points your customers have right now, all of the problems that you know they have, and then all of the problems that they think they have, so that when it comes down to you making content at the top, you can actually go and just pull up this G sheet and you could be like, I need to make content on that, then I need to transition into talking and educating them about the actual problem. And then as they trust me, I can talk about the solutions. And then as they understand they need the solutions, that's when your product, your service is positioned there. And then they click that link, the proof page shows up, they trust you, they see all the social proof, and they convert into a lead, a hot lead, or a client. So hopefully that makes sense. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. And yeah, that's 10 years of marketing. Hopefully I've delivered on what you said as well. So if you are growing a service business online, I would only ask you to subscribe if you're actually trying to do that, starting or growing, and this channel is going to be for you. If not, don't worry, it's not for you, but hopefully you learned something from this anyway. So thank you, and we'll see you soon.